Now, most people will take a pork butt, go ahead, season it up, put it straight out there on the grill, and basically you end up with a bunch of pulled pork. But I'm gonna show you one thing I start doing before I get that baby onto the smoker that's completely changing the game, and now I'm starting to get 2 meals for the price of one. Come on. Outside, nice and early, nice and hot. We had some sun yesterday, but as you can see, it is blaring. I'm about to try to get this pool cleaned out. We got some smoke starting up, and if you ain't noticed, this is the first official sighting. I got old Nelly cleaned up, and we gonna get on up in there and see what we can do today. Oh, that's too close. There we go. We're gonna see what we can do, and we're gonna get us a live fire going. I'm making an easy cook, but I'm telling you what, we're gonna switch some things up today. Good old-fashioned pork butt. The girls won't pull pork, so they had this on sale for $1.99 a pound at my local grocery store, Fry's, Kroger, however you know it to be. We're going to do pulled pork, which is super easy, but that's not really the star of the show. What I'm going to be showing you today is we're going to be doing a 2-in-1, and main thing that I'm looking for is a little bit of lunchtime, which is I'm trying to get me some nice, fat pork steaks in this baby. So basically what we're going to be doing is cutting some pork steaks off first, then I'm going to be smoking the rest of this baby, and then I'll get pulled pork out the back end. So we're going 2 for 1 today. Out of the same meal for $16.46, I'm gonna go ahead and get 2 meals and not be stuck with so much pork butt that I'm giving it away to, or pork butt that I'm giving it away to all my neighbors. Instead, I'm gonna do a little something special. Let me get this out the package. It got nice striated, as you can see. Lots of good fat here in this pork butt. One thing I usually look at when I'm looking through the package is the striation, and then normally I will come over and find that money muscle, and I like to see a lot of these long strands going that way over that whole thing, and then try to find one that has a decent size one, because sometimes you'll see ones that really they didn't accidentally cut it off or it's super small. But let me get this out of the package, clean it up, and we're gonna get started. Alright, out the package, I'm ready to do damage. As you can see, I got my barbecue tub here. Love this thing because it starts off as my cutting board, but then later on, once I season up and everything, I can cut the top on down here and let this thing kind of hang out. But you can see everything now that we're out. I'm not going to do too much trimming. If there was a lot of excess, maybe I would, just so there's not a lot of fat falling down. There is this little ridge right here that I'm kind of looking at. If you can kind of see that little weird angle, I could easily trim some of that off. I might, actually. But here we go. You are looking at, let me get up out of here a little bit so you see you don't see so much of my shadow. Money muscle, striations always go this way. Okay, on the side. Easy way. And now normally if I was just doing a general pork butt, there's a little bit of fat I might trim, who knows. If I was just doing a general pork butt, I would leave as is. And I love having bone in because it definitely gives a little bit more flavor around that bone. You get a little bit more moisture that's going to come out of there, a little bit more connective tissue that's around that bone. And just overall, it's kind of like that natural thermometer that really lets you know when everything's done. When I can get that thing loose and popping up out of there, lets me know this thing's ready to go. But again, I want to make me some lunch, and today I'm going to be doing some pork steaks. My pork steaks actually get cut this way. So when you're looking, and I call this like a 7 bone, right? Sometimes it's bigger, but it starts right here where I feel it. You can see it moving when I touch, all the way out to obviously right there. So let's just say I was going to cut some steaks, and I need to cut the long way. I'd be able to start coming this way until I get to the bone. If we come from this way and look, this is where you actually see that bone there. So maybe I could get, depending on how thick you want to go, you might be able to get 2. I want to get at least 3. So today we're going to be doing a cardinal sin. We're going to cut this bone up out of here. And I'm going to show you how easy it is also to make this a boneless one. So basically you got bone here. So this part will always be opposite of your money muscle. So if you want to know where your money muscle's at, put your hand on there, find the bone on the side. When you find the bone, know that the opposite side has your money muscle. So what we're going to be looking at from here, where this bone is at, we're going to cut a line directly over to this bone, which is obviously all one bone because we've taken this out before. So really, this is the shelf that you're looking at. So I'm going to start there, And I'm gonna cut straight over to here, and we're gonna get us a nice long indentation. Okay, so from there, straight over, like I said, nice little shelf. And once you get in there, this is really right up there on the bone. Try to cut as close as you can. And we want to keep on coming back, and we're going to pull it back until you feel the end of the bone. And I just want to make an indentation and a score mark right along the outside of that ridge of the bone right there. And this is what that indentation will look like, parted back. And then you can see I put a nice little groove line right in there to just kind of start to separate that bone, and that's it, right? So from there, put this baby back, still looking pretty much exactly like it did. We're gonna flip it over, and what I want to do is I rotate it around. Yeah, you know I'm always one-hand monstering over here. And I've seen people actually put a straight hole straight through just so they got something to hook on to, but I can do just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and just follow along this bone to go ahead and release it all the way through. And then if we keep going all the way back, it should hit that line that we already did with the separation to get rid of it. Just take your time, make sure we follow it as close as you can to this bone. And before I completely release this bone, I want you to see it. We're still on the fat side up now. As you see, I have started to slice, and then pull back some of that skin so I can start to open it up. Rolled it all the way back open, and this is the way I like to go, because we already got that slit in there. Let me come back this way, work back some, and literally I could almost do this with my hand right now until I get to that little knob on the bone. And then we'll come back and we'll meet it right there on the side. And we don't really got to get too much extra fat, or I mean not too much meat on here, and we'll get this bone out nice and clean. And final cut. Here is my bone. I got a lot of glare, so I can't really see what you're seeing, but from what I'm looking at from my side, we ain't got that much. I mean, as much pork butt as we gonna get out of here. Yeah, a little bit right there, but that's pretty tight, right? There go the bone. Toss that to the side. Obviously, if I was just doing pork butt, I wouldn't worry about that so much. And here is your boneless pork butt. Super easy. Now, let's cut some steaks. All right, so I flipped that baby around. Bone side came out of that side, so it's kind of got that little bit of a hole in it. I'm gonna try to work with this nice full side. Like I said, I want to go, this is the money muscle right here. I want to go the long way, and I want to get me some nice thick babies out of here. The first one is always going to kind of be at an angle because you got all this overhang. I'm going to grab my brisket knife, and we're about to start pulling off some of these daddies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing, it's got some good grips on the bottom, sideways to make my cut a little easier. Got my brisket knife here, and then pretty much like I was saying, we'll go about a width of the brisket knife, and that'll kind of let me know where I want to cut. Put some like small lines there, like that, roughly, something like that. These should be some nice fat ones, and I don't need that much pork butt, so my guess is I'm gonna go about 3 daddies, about like that. 1, 2, 3. Just like you see it. So this was what, let me look in this garbage. 8.27 pounds. So a little over 8 pounds. So we got about a 4-pound little booty that I'll cook up. That's more than enough for the family. And then I got my 3 beautiful steaks. Look at these things. Baby's this thick. Now, if you had a bandsaw, you can see this is where, and this is where I took the bone out. This is where the 3rd one hit. This is going to be the one we're going to taste test. And I got 2 beauties right here. Pull one of them out. Let you check that out. Marbling, fat, thickness. These is not no small babies. But hey, you want a good pork steak, you can cut it yourself. A lot of times you'll also see these and you buy them in the store thinly sliced. Again, if you got a meat slicer, this is the way you do it. Go ahead and take your bone out, and then go ahead and thinly slice you a bunch of them, and you can vacuum seal and be together. I'm gonna do some damage. I got some of these big fat pork steaks that we're gonna do today. We're gonna get us a nice little meal up out of that, and then for tonight we're gonna go ahead and throw this to the side for some pork butt. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the seasoning portion of this video. And as far as the seasoning is concerned, the star of the show today is Michigan's own Zender's Marketplace Smoky Honey Barbecue Rub. Caught this one when I was actually back home with family at a water park in Michigan. This rub is amazing, a little bit of sweetness to it, nice little smoky effect, and it also has a great bit of color. I think it's going to really set this pork steaks out, as well as the actual pork butt that's going to get rolled up and shredded up and everything later on, or pulled at the end of the day. So I'm actually going to be seasoning everybody with the exact same thing. We're going to let them hang out, and we'll slide over there and see how this Lone Star is doing. There we go. Pull the sides up a little bit, give me a little room to work. Let's get everybody seasoned up. All right, I had to switch sides. Tell me that ain't a beautiful looking color we got on everything. Smelling great. Honey smoke barbecue. I'm gonna let them hang out for just a second, and then we are moving over to the Lone Star. Over here at the old Lone Star, and I'm gonna tell you, first time bringing it out, had to do a little cleaning. I think I brought it up before. If you've been following along, I gotta address my wheel situation. You can see one of them is flat. I think they all probably need to be changed out at this point. Harder charcoal is always representing. A little bit of a pecan underneath there, pecan, however you like to put it, but we got it cleaned off, a little fresh mineral oil all over it. Try to hold off most of that rust. Been holding on pretty strong, getting a little bit building up over here in these cracks in the corner. Saw a couple little spots like right there, right here. Nothing too wild, but all in all, man, this thing's still holding on like a beauty. So we got a nice little charcoal chimney of some harder charcoal in here to at least get things kind of started. The door's closing on me. I'm gonna add some more of this lump charcoal in here. And if you don't know, the harder charcoal comes with a premium lump charcoal that is 100% naturally made. And I tell you what, clean burns for a long time, and it's got a great smoke that's gonna come off in there. I'm gonna add a little bit more in there. I don't want to be too much, because today's cook, for those pork steaks at least, is gonna happen right here, direct fire over the top of this flame. So I don't want this kissing up too much. Make sure these grates is nice and brushed down already. I'll add a little bit of cooking spray to them, just because they are a little older and rusted looking, so we'll give them a little love. And we're gonna get pork steaks going right there. I'm gonna throw the roast over here in the chamber and let it kind of hang out and start getting some of this smoke. It won't get addressed too much right now. Once I get done with the direct cook on these pork steaks, we'll get to it. But it'll kind of get started more or less over here on the side. What I'm thinking about with this pork steak is, this is a nice high distance from where this fire is at, as long as I keep these coals low. Get down here with you. As long as I keep these coals low, you got plenty of room up to this fire. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna direct cook these pork steaks over the live fire, but I'm also going to be able to get a little bit of smoke in there as well, because they're going to cook low and slow. You'll have some of that fat coming down off of that pork, hitting those coals, coming back up with some more smoke, and it'll come up here and kiss these babies nice and pretty. We should get us a beautiful color as well as a great flavor. So let's add a little bit of harder, not too much, and let me get some cooking spray. Fresh bag open, and let me show you some of this good old quality premium lump charcoal. Come on, man. Throw a couple of these Klondike bars in here just so I can get a little extra smoke. Come on, these Energon cubes. All right, we good. Let's close this up. Okay, here we go. First things first, let's toss this roast in here, and I'll get it going. Something just like that, nice and solid all together, right in the middle. Now on to these beautiful pork steaks, and I gotta be quick because I don't want to let this flame kick up too much and get too ignited. I'm gonna stay away from where I just put the newer pieces in there, but we're just gonna get some of these nice, big, beautiful babies Pardon my reach. I try to make sure we get them on there nice and pretty. Keep in mind, however you put it in, that's how it's going to cook. So you want to group it together. Keep it together. And that way we can get us a pretty looking steak at the end of that. There we go. Alright, let me close this up quick and I'll bring you back. Alright, it's only been like 5 minutes. Obviously we smoking clean, so I'm not worried about the pork butt. Obviously it's probably only around 200 degrees in there, so it's just getting a little bit of light smoke. I do want to keep an eye to make sure these aren't cooking too fast. I'm gonna probably wait another minute and I'm gonna get a flip and we'll kind of get a check. But I just want to make sure we're not getting no flame kicking up in there. Those do have a lot of fat because that is pork butt, right? So you can almost look at that as a 80-20 type of a deal, or even maybe even more sometimes. So if you do start seeing too much smoke, make sure you get over here quick and save your dogs before they're gone, and you won't have no steaks left. But my goal is to give it about 5 minutes on one side. I'll flip to the other side and I'll see what that look like. All right, there's the other side. We're looking good. Not too far. I'm gonna let them side get another 5 minutes. Let me hurry up and close up and I'll bring you back.
And team, I just want to take a quick second to jump in here and tell you thanks for watching today's video. And if you are new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner, make sure you subscribe, check out some of the other videos on there that you might have missed. And with that said, find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok, and let me know down there in the comments. You ever cut your own pork steaks like this?
Okay, it's been about 7 minutes. Ooh. You see what I see, what I mean by that? I say we're going to direct smoke these babies. Look at all that smoke coming out of this chamber. Look at that color. There's no filters on this camera, ladies and gentlemen. That's real deal. That's the color of that Zendejas honey hickory barbecue, and just a little bit of time on this smoker. Let me take a peek. Okay, now one thing I did do after our last time was I did open this baby up and put a stick of wood on each side so they can start drying out. So when I start to move forward into getting this roast cooked, I should be able to already have me some nice pieces of dry wood. I did grab my thermometer so I can kind of get an idea where I'm at. And these boys is getting pretty close. At the end of the day, this is pork, so you only need 145 to be done. Back in the day, we used to say 165. Really, I just want to get some good color off on these babies, and they're all coming off. Checked out both sides all the way around. We pretty close. I'm going to let them hang out for about another 2 minutes, and we're getting them up off of here. Alright, so it has literally been about 37 minutes. We've been working these things back and forth over this fire. They're ready to go, as you can see. Check out my beautiful looking color. A little bit of char. I'm going to pull them up off of here and get them onto my handy dandy cutting board. And I'll try to do this one-handed without tearing the club up. Let that side get just a little tad more while I'm putting these out. Check that out. Nothing but a little pork steak. And this fine puppy right here will be the last. And while that last one is kind of going, you can see exactly what I was talking about. If we zero in, you get that fat crisping up on that grill, being directly over those flames and the coals. It's flaming a little bit now because I got it up, but pretty much this has been nothing but a coal bed, which has been beautiful to cook on. And the whole time you get that fat dripping down, coming back up, providing additional smoke and flavor, and kissing this meat, kind of like you do when you do jerk chicken. And you see how much smoke we're getting out of this place. These is gonna taste amazing. And that's good enough. I just wanted to get that last side just a tad more char. Hiya. Flip you around one time. Put all the fat the same way. Bam. There it is. Up close and personal. And when I tell you she juicy, she is juicy. Let's get this in the house. I'm gonna let this go hang out. I just added that those 2 additional pieces of wood that I had on the side into the fire. Added 2 more pieces of wood off to the side. I'm up to 250 and we smoking, baby. About an hour later, we dialed in. We getting us a little bit of char. I tell you what, it ain't nothing like the smell of that real smoke out here with that wood going. I'm gonna give this thing a rotation. Because it's smaller, I will go ahead and check the temperature. It might be go ahead and ready for time to wrap. Back indoors, and I am prepping for my wrap. I'm gonna be bringing this baby inside. You see I got the glass dish here with a little liquid in the bottom. I don't use nothing but my baby's apple juice. Just a little bit of apple juice in the bottom. I'll probably give it just a general spritz over the top with usually I use apple cider vinegar and water. So far I haven't spritzed that thing because I really don't want to make something up. I probably might pour a little bit of this apple juice on top. It'll probably be good enough. At this point, it is what it is. I'm just gonna get some good smoke out there on the Lone Star, get some good wood in there, and then other than that, maybe we should taste some of this. Out there in the pool, I didn't even get the premium. That's great. So we back outside, clearly. Obviously, that's tasting good. Man, it's so good to see my Lone Star out here. We burning now, baby. We got the heat moving in one direction. We up to about 300 degrees, which I'm good with. I'm not really tripping. We got some clean smoke pouring on this thing. I'll get in front of my tree so you can see. Ain't nothing showing through. A lot of that harder charcoal was in there to kind of give us our base, some of that lump charcoal, and then we come through with some of that pecan back there. We rolling smooth and easy. I'm gonna go ahead, since I got so much good heat, I'm gonna tap it down just a little bit, but I'm gonna let this thing kind of just ride out for a second. There we go. That right there should get me closer to 250, 250-ish, 225-ish, somewhere between the two of those. I'm gonna let this thing kind of ride out. I'm a little over 2 hours since it's been in there in total, but keep in mind that some of that time I was cooking over here, so it was pretty low on this side, but it's always been getting some smoke. Obviously the color's looking pretty solid. I'm just barking up at this point. I gave it a rotation to kind of lay it down flat, just to kind of give one of them other sides a little bit of that color. I'm not gonna open it up, or shut up, might as well. It's hot enough. Just so you can kind of see, I'm just gonna give it a little bit more of this color. Sunlight's kind of getting me. It's got a beautiful, there we go. Now you can see what it's looking like. Beautiful redness, a little bit of char in a couple areas. Yeah. That's the bottom. All right, we're gonna let this thing kind of get a little more char. I'm gonna bring it in and we're gonna take this thing up to 200. We'll see where the temperature's at here in a little bit. Smooth sailing, baby. We rolling at about 3 hours in. Just now they kind of slid inside this 250 mark. Time for you to come on in. I didn't bring my thermometer out here. I know you ain't where I needed to be. Love the color. Love the smoke that you done got with some of this real wood, which I feel like I ain't had in a while, so I might not even be ready for all this good old smoke. But we're about to bring this in the house. Got my little apple juice tray that you saw here already. A little bit of apple juice in there so you get an idea. That's a small general juice box, and I just used half of it. So I'm gonna toss this in here and let's scoot inside. All right, back in the house. You can see some of the color we got over here. Lots of good smell. 3 hours of smoke out there on the Lone Star with some of that good old-fashioned wood. Guaranteed is more tthan enough. Got a little bit of apple juice in the bottom. I'm not gonna add much, just a little bit over the top. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some foil over here, throwing it straight into my oven, which is already ready to rock at 350, and then we're gonna go from there. Okay, so I went ahead and double wrapped that with foil. I was temping out at roughly about 155, so I got a ways to go. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on this bottom rack. I ain't too worried. It's in there at 350. We'll come check on it in about an hour. All right, 1 hour, 10 minutes. We've been rolling along. Lots of heat coming out of here. And obviously, you can finish this off in the grill if you want to, but I'm a little light on wood, so no need of just wasting it. At this point, I'm just down to the point where I'm trying to get it pull tender. We all covered up, so we done getting smoke. And I know I got plenty of that. Woo! in that first one. Let me grab my thermometer. Okay, now 195 will be solid. 200 is what I want. Yes. Yes. All right, I'm going to leave this out. Like I said, it was an hour, 10 minutes, so probably about an hour would have probably got me there, but I like where I'm at. I'm going to just cover this back up and I'm going to let it sit right here for about the next 20 minutes and we'll pull it. It's at least been about 20 minutes, so let's get to pulling this thing here. Now, since that bone is already gone, you pretty much got a lot of the other stuff gone too. You can see the smoke penetration on here, and this is pretty tender. It's just pretty hot, but I can easily pull this thing apart. Let me grab a couple forks. There we go. Nice and smoky. I left all the liquid in there and quickly it absorbed that back. Wasn't too much fat in there, but had to get rid of it. Once you break it down, this would be a good time for you to give it a little bit of a taste. And then you can always add a little bit more of whatever seasoning you're using. I'm going to add just a tad more of this smoky honey barbecue. And then mix that up. And we should be good to go. Sample a little bit. Nice and smoky. Got my burn in there. Magnifique. Nice and tender, nice and juicy.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how we're going to get a couple different meals out of one single pork butt and turn that $17 investment into a whole lot of fun for the family. We end up with at least 4 pounds of that pulled pork roughly, and you still got those 3 big old pork steaks. Big shouts out to you for checking this video out if you made it this far. My boys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue, my family, of course everybody out there in TV land, I appreciate y'all. You know we're going to do it real good real soon. It sure is good to have that heart of charcoal and get that Lone Star back out. Let's go. Peace.